Okay folks, this is Chris Eteron again, checking in for TradeTaxPlus. In this last video for September, we just going to share with you a court case that's come out very recently, which impacts directly on the use of normal objection and appeal processes versus the PAJA route. The court case was a way to explore, was the appellant, and obviously the Commissioner of South African Revenue Services was the respondent in that case. The judgment was handed down on the 23rd of August 2017. The judgment is not yet on the SARS website by the time we're taking this video, but it probably will be on the website very soon. Real lessons in this judgment. What happened there is SARS disallowed, as we all know they sometimes do nowadays. They asked for, on a verification process, they asked for invoices to support input tax claims. They also asked for certain documentation to prove that you're entitled to zero-rate certain other supplies. Now, according to the taxpayer, and they can prove that they have submitted the information on e-filing, and somehow it hasn't reached SARS. SARS then asked again, where's the information? And they've said we have submitted that. And the next thing, of course, SARS issued assessments. We all know what those assessments look like. They disallowed all input tax and they taxed all zero-rated supplies as if those were standard-rated supplies. The taxpayer then kind of objected against the assessments. They wrote a letter, which is kind of a nasty letter to SARS, but nothing to do whatsoever with the requirements of what a formal objection is. And when SARS disallowed, or just told them you haven't formally objected in terms of what the VAT requires, and they gave them all the right documentation saying this is what it should look like, you must object properly and all of that good stuff, the client then had made an attempt to submit the correct documentation. Again, they have not indicated at that stage why SARS should condone the late submission. Now, the VAT Act or the Tax Administration Act says there has to be specific reasons, specific circumstances that led up to this late submission, and they couldn't show those exceptional circumstances. They haven't even attempted to do so. So that is the background. But what SARS then did is then SARS said, by the way, these other tax periods you've got refunds, we're going to take these refunds and we're going to pay the assessment which you've just raised. So they went to the court under PAJA. They went to the Gauteng division of the High Court in Pretoria. And the High Court said certain things. Firstly, they said you can't use PAJA unless you've used all other avenues available. And the avenues available are objection and appeal. Now, the objection and appeal process are processes are set out very clearly in the Tax Administration Act and the government notices and the rules contained in the government notices. Very clear in terms of the format of the objection, the timing of the objection. If you're late, what you should do to get condemnation for the late submission, and you either comply with those things strictly or you haven't complied, in which case you haven't objected, the assessment becomes final and you pay your taxes. If you haven't done all of that, or you've done all of that and SARS still is some way not playing ball, then you can go to PAJA and say, listen, in terms of the PAJA, we want this assessment, or we want the situation reviewed. Is SARS doing what they should be doing in terms of the concept of fair administrative action? What the court then said is, but Mr. Taxpayer, you have done none of those things. You haven't done a proper objection. You haven't given reasons why, and you were late on when you did attempt to do some kind of a objection. You also haven't given any reasons why the late submission should be condoned or any circumstances leading to that. The special circumstances supporting your contention. You've done none of that. So you also have then not properly objected. It means you haven't used all the method that's available to you in terms of objecting and appealing to a decision by SARS. So that's still open to you. SARS might not want at this stage to allow you to put in a late objection, but that's a different issue. That's a decision SARS has to make at that point in time, and you can object against that decision. But those remedies are all available and you haven't exhausted those remedies, so you can't use PAJA. Now, what is the learning out of this? The learning out of this is we need to be really careful that we have a deep understanding of what the processes are and the formats are to lodge objections. So as much as SARS is bound by process, taxpayers are also bound by process. And what the court said in this specific case, we don't care that your advisor didn't know what he or she was talking about. That's just too bad, too sad for you. You stuck with the situation that's being created. It's a taxpayer's situation, and we can't remedy that. What the court has said, though, is SARS can't attach money in respect of the refunds or other refunds and pay these assessments with that. He says SARS is also bound by first going through the process and looking what's the likely outcome of the objection and appeal process. It's most likely that it was just a documentary thing and the taxpayer will then prove that they were entitled to the inputs and the outputs should have been zero rated. Then the assessment will just disappear. And SARS can't just grab other money and set it off before SARS have also gone through all of those processes and applied their minds to what the likely outcome would be of the objection and appeal process. So that's a little bit of positive on that side. But mainly the lesson coming out of this is don't deal with objections and appeal processes lightly. Don't write a stinky letter to SARS. That's not going to help you at all. It has to be a formal process as laid out in the Tax Administration Act, linked to the government notice issued in terms of all the rules that need to be complied with. So that's something to think about. Again, watch our videos, give us feedback, tell us what you think about it. For the September videos, this is Chris Teron checking out for the last time for TradeTaxPlus, Center of Excellence.